Hello, good evening everyone. Thank you for making it to the second stage of this challenge, and I want to congratulate you for taking your time to work on the first challenge, which is user flow diagram. We are still on this project, design a modern secure authentication flow, and this time we are going to be working on a low fidelity wireframe for this project. So before we get started, I know that most of you who just started may not know what a low fidelity or wireframe are. They are usually used as a term, but in practice they don't really look alike. So most times you will hear senior designers, they will say you don't just start a project by jumping on Figma first. And sometimes you'll be asking yourself, what does that mean? You know, when I started earlier as a UX designer, I will first of all rush to Figma whenever I have fresh ideas, and I'll start doing the main UI, pixel perfect UI, and most of the times I will hit a block on the way and I will have to start afresh all over again, or I will make a mistake and I will not really understand the flow and all that. So the reason why you are working on this is to give you practical steps of the things you do before you design your final UI. And after user flow diagram, low fidelity or wireframes is the next thing that you'll be working on. So me, usually when I'm designing, I love to design with low fidelity because they give me a clearer picture of what I'm working on instead of wireframes. So I will have to explain what low fidelity and wireframes are. So what is a low fidelity design? A low fidelity design or wireframes are rough, simple sketches of your app. They usually contains no color, no fancy visuals, just the structure of your screens. So you choose to make it a Lofi or a wireframe. Lofis are like a low demo lookalike, while wireframes are mostly used in shapes and blocks representing a particular design. They are always the same, but most importantly, all you need to do is to understand the context behind Lofis or wireframe to represent the main design. I want you to have a major understanding so that when you are doing your designs, you can use Lofi or wireframes, but I just want you to understand the context of what you are working on. So let me use this low fidelity design as an example of a project that I've already worked on. So when I started this project, before I got to this Lofi design stage, I have already done other UX steps before I got to this stage. So, you know, other people might say, okay, they now have an understanding, okay, this is what we will do. They will now come here. Let me show you something. Let me use this as an example. I pasted this project here now, this particular screen. So if I decided to use a wireframe, what I'll be doing here is I will use probably lines. I'll use probably lines as my header. You understand? And then I will use dots. Sorry. And then I will use dots here. So in wireframing, you will use shapes, but in low fidelity design, you will design what you are expected to do in the main design. You can make your mistakes in the low fidelity, and it's allowed to make your mistakes, but it's not allowed to make any mistake in your main design. So this is like a rough sketch of the final project. Okay, let me show you the final project, what it looks like. So this is what the final project looks like. So if you look at this place, you see these blocks here, these pictures. is also the same as these pictures. So this is a low fidelity design. Why do you need low fidelity or wireframes? The reasons why you need low fidelity or wireframes are: low fidelity helps you, or wireframes, they help you to think clearly. They give you a clearer picture of what you'll be designing in your final UI. They let you map out your ideas, fix your problems early, and avoid wasting times on pixel perfect designs that may not work in the future. They give you somewhat of a clearer picture or idea of what the product will look like after the main UI design. So the focus point when you are working on this project, you make sure that your layouts are clear. You use a very good UX design hierarchy and functionality. You ask yourself some questions: what goes where and why is it there, and be able to answer these questions. What actions does a user take next from here? Like I said earlier, you should be able to answer these questions and translate them in your lo-fi designs. So before you start working on anything at all, make sure you imbibe it as a culture to first sketch out what you'll be designing, because it's going to save you a whole lot of time. I don't know if I made sense. So I also want to wish you all good luck, and I'm expecting a beautiful low fidelity from you all. It may not really look so nice, but let it be like a sketch of what we are expecting in your final design. So like I showed you, the difference between lo-fi and wireframes. This is a lo-fi, why this is a wireframe. Why this is a wireframe. So here I can remove this, I can remove these blocks, and it will just look like this. So this is what we call lo-fi design. So look at this point, you will see that there is that a text is meant to be here, a text is meant to be here, an image is meant to be here, while a supporting text is meant to be here, and the button should be here. So this is a wireframe, why this is a low fidelity. So for me, I love working with low fidelity designs because it reduces confusion and makes me understand what exactly it is I'm working on. I can translate, and then it easily helps me to translate from lo-fi to hi-fi by adding my colors, because I've already done my design system. I think I've explained enough. Thank you, and have a very nice day as you work on this project. Bye.